Okay, guys, welcome to the call. We've already been talking for 3 minutes and I forgot to press record. So we wished happy birthday to Alcy already. Everybody went nuts. Lonnie actually did a backflip. Terrence did a handstand and whatever. So anyway, I know they're out in Vegas having a good time and all that good stuff. So hopefully y'all are watching later. But what we were saying is a lot of times the feedback that I get, some of the best calls that we ever have is when y'all interact and you can hear from each other and hear what's going on, because sometimes you just how the mind works. You can relate to your peers sometimes more than you can relate to someone that you might believe is in a much higher position than you or whatever. It's just kind of a psychological thing. Sometimes it's conscious, sometimes it's unconscious. So or subconscious. I don't mean unconscious. Let me back that up. I caught myself. It's a subconscious thing, not an unconscious thing. So, but you guys got me. So if y'all want to interact, that would be great too. Now, I posted the other day on our Telegram group. By the way, write this down in your notes. Write this down in your notes. Let me see how many days. Do y'all know how many days we got to the extravaganza? Yesterday, it was 39 days. So that would mean today it's 38 days, including today. So y'all write that down in your notes. Start your notes out because the countdown is on. We got 2 countdowns right now. Start your notes out. Everybody take notes. This is a learning session, okay? If you're driving like Earl is or whatever, then just come back and get the notes later. So we got 2 countdowns going on. Number 1, we got the countdown to the month, to June. And June is the 3rd month of the 2nd quarter of the year, okay? Whoever's joining us late, y'all make sure that you watch the first 3 or 4 minutes of the call later on the internet so you can get the notes. So June, this month, is the final month of the 2nd quarter of the year. So very, very, very extremely critically important month. Say that one more time. June is the final month of the 2nd quarter of the year, which will take us 6 months into the year. Essentially, we got 10 days to complete the first half of the year. I want to let that sink in for a minute. You guys got me? Nod your head if you got me. It's hard sometimes when everybody's muted because, we can't interact like if we are live and unmuted. So, critically important month to close out. So you guys, of course, can put your exclamation point on the first half of the year. Put your exclamation point on the 2nd quarter of the year and set up your first month of the 3rd quarter. And obviously, that also happens to be the first month of the 3rd quarter, which is extravaganza month as well. So all the stars are lined up where it's important for you guys to really have the championship mentality, the champion's mentality, the fighter's mentality, the do or die mentality. I'm climbing to the top. You're going to find me waving the flag from the top or dead on the side from trying. I'm not coming back type of attitude over the next 10 days. Very, very important. And by the way, for y'all that are listening live right now, I would recommend, because I've only been talking for about 4 or 5 minutes officially, I would recommend that you go back and listen to the first 4 or 5 minutes as well of this call. Because by the time this call is over, you will have forgotten the first 5 minutes of what I'm talking about right now. And what I'm talking about right now is the most important part of the call. You guys understand how that works? By the time the call is over, we already forgot about the first 5 minutes. And the first 5 minutes is probably the most important part of tonight's call for you guys to really grasp, absorb, metabolize, so you can actually go out there over the next 10 days and be a boss or a boss woman or whatever you want to call yourself, a champion, and leave it all on the field and get paid. More importantly than getting paid is the exclamation point that you put on the second quarter of the year, the momentum that you're going to have going into the first month of the third quarter of the year, and that's a special month because it's Extravaganza 2018 month. You guys understand what I'm saying? See, you want to, okay, let me put it this way. Raise your hand if you want to set yourself up for success. Raise your hand if you want to set yourself up for success. This is how you set yourself up for success. I have not met anybody in this business that has advanced to the next levels in the marketing plan, significant levels, where you're really starting to get the income, get paid, get the recognition, get the position, the title. Don't y'all think title is important? Like if you work in a company, you get promoted and you're the friggin', you're the manager, you're the executive manager, you're the, all the way up, whatever they call all the different things, all the way up to the CEO, the CFO, the president of the company. Don't y'all think titles are important? Titles are important in society because guess what? Your title commands respect. I'll let that sink in for a minute. I'm not going to go too quick. You guys understand that? Your title will command respect from people. You guys want people to respect you when you speak? Yes or no? Right? Of course. You want people to listen when you speak? Yes. Well, if you have a title, which means a position in the marketing plan, and by the way, there's an old phrase, position determines income. Get it in your notes. Position determines income. So the higher your title, the higher your position, well, you can finish the sentence, the higher your income, right? Supervisor is a higher title, higher level, higher position than senior consultant. Therefore, supervisors make more income. Make sense? Nod your head. Of course it does. Okay? Qualified producer, higher title than supervisor. Qualified producer, across the board, probably going to be making more money. World team, active world team, global expansion team, all those going to be making more money than senior consultant and supervisor. Higher title, higher position. Position determines income. Well, what I've noticed also in the Herbalife millionaire team, Get Team 2500, millionaire team 7500, president's team, chairman's, every single one. I think me and Terry are the only ones that are old. Maybe Earl is old enough. Maybe Lonnie. Sorry to lump you into that conversation, Lonnie, about being old enough. Maybe you're not. I don't know. But I'm gonna dig a hole if I keep naming people. But yeah, Terry. Exactly. Thank you. But you remember when they used to that commercial E.F. Hutton? When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. Used to be a commercial back. I can't remember 20 years ago, probably. I think it was for insurance or financial services or something. But E.F. Hutton was like, when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. So it's like when you have a position and a title, people, they're more like engaged. You have their ear. You have respect. You know what I mean? They think you're somebody. Of course, we're all just normal people that found an extraordinary opportunity. But a lot of us become extraordinary people as we move up and develop ourselves, move up the marketing plan. Agreed? Agreed? To move up to the Get Team, Millionaire Team, and President's Team, yes, you have to be extraordinary. Extraordinary. Not ordinary, extraordinary. You can be ordinary and get on the Get Team, but to develop and keep the income, you got to develop yourself and do the extra things. Extraordinary things, language, communication, listening to people, having compassion for people, like genuinely, like not just acting like you're listening, not just acting like you care, but genuinely learning how to care and learning how to, and genuinely wanting to help the person, genuinely wanting to get so wrapped up in helping them get results on the products or in the business that you never even thought once about the money that you're going to make. You guys got me? Because people feel that. So there's a lot of things that you become extraordinary at. Ordinary people equals ordinary income. Ordinary equals ordinary. Ordinary people get ordinary income, ordinary results. Extraordinary people get extraordinary income, extraordinary results, etc., etc. Does that make sense? Pretty fundamental stuff. So I'm going to tie this into what I started out with, that how important the next 10 days is. Because I've never met anyone in Herbalife that's gotten anything significant, like level-wise, Get Team, Millionaire Team, President's Team, etc., that didn't learn and treat the last 10 days of the month with the utmost of critical importance of closing out the month. And I mean, it's the 2-minute warning, guys. It's the 2-minute warning. Raise your hand if you like sports. We all like sports. Terry, get that hand up. You love sports. See, she's got 2 hands up to make up for it. I got you. There you go. You love sports. Okay? We know you love sports. You're going to get off and watch the World Cup after we're done. I know you are. You'll be up till 3 in the morning. Okay. So in sports, I mean, the people that are making all the money and getting the endorsements are the ones that are putting up the most points on the scoreboard. Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Or in basketball, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, the list goes on and on. Kyrie Irving, whoever, putting points on the board, points on the board, points on the board. And what's the most critical point in the game? Whether we're talking about basketball, whether we're talking about football, whether we're talking about any ball or any sport. Most critical part, even if you're behind, like the Golden State Warriors kept being with Houston and kept being with the Cavs, guess what they did? They made that run in the third quarter. That momentum. They got the momentum back. It's all about momentum shifts. Nod your head if you understand. Momentum shifts. How does that relate to the last 10 days of this month? This is a momentum business, so you want to have momentum. Put your stamp, exclamation point, on the last 10 days of the second quarter of the year. So you set yourself up appropriately. Jim Rohn calls it set your sail for success. You have to set your sail appropriately for success. You guys understand the sail? Like if you're on a sailboat, the wind blows different direct. Exactly. That's why I was looking at you, Cole. So not like I was looking at you like I didn't think you understood, but I thought maybe a few people didn't understand the sail. The context is set your sail for success. Like a sailboat, the wind blows different directions. The wind keeps changing. So you got to be able to set your sail with the wind so you go where you want to go. Set your sail for success. So this is how you set yourself up, set your sail for success, sail, S-A-I-L, right, for the third quarter of the year, for July, for extravaganza month. So all of y'all can walk into July like high-fiving yourself, high-fiving your team members, feeling great about yourself. Do you know that in business, and I saw this from Grant Cardone, I'm on his Twitter feed, and I keep screenshotting this stuff, and then I'll, crop it and whatever. But he talked about in business, when you run your own business, when you own your own business, when you're an entrepreneur, they talk about confidence being the number one ingredient for your success. There's a few other ingredients too, but one of the number one ingredients is confidence, having confidence in yourself. So in the next 10 days, if you do everything within your power, if you have the mindset of a champion, if you understand title and position, if you understand momentum, if you understand second quarter, third quarter, if you understand July extravaganza month, if you understand how important it is for you to have momentum going into July so you feel good about yourself your self-esteem and your confidence is at an all-time high because you were the most valuable player in the last 10 days of the month here, just like a basketball or any other game where you put up those points in the fourth quarter in the 2-minute warning. Does that make sense to you guys? The analogies in sports are very, very synonymous with, y'all didn't know I knew that word, right? But they're very synonymous with business, sports. It is, man. You listen to some of these coaches coaching their players, and it is like, boom, it's the same with business. Same with business, okay? So, does everybody understand that? We got 2-minute warnings. We got the first 2-minute warning is June, the next 10 days, and that's called putting points on the board. That's called all-out massive action. Get it in your notes, all-out massive action. Massive action equals massive results. Activity and production solves all problems. Massive action equals massive results. Activity and production solves all problems. You understand? Repetition, repetition. That's why I say it, so y'all can get it down, get it down. Okay? For the next 10 days in your brain, massive action equals massive results. Activity and production solves all problems. Mindset of a champion. Close strong, close like a champion. You want to be the most valuable player? You want to get the title? You want to get the position? You want to get the money? You got to learn how to close months. You got to learn how to close months. You got to go through that process. Agreed? Am I telling y'all anything that's like outrageously untrue? No. This is the stuff, man. Okay? Now, check this out. Will some of it, whether it's this month, next month, or the next month, okay? By the way, we never talk about the next month when we're in the month we're in, but just as an analogy. No matter what month you're in, because you got to learn how to do this, get good at this skill set, mindset every month. Because your mindset, we're all humans, you don't have that sense of urgency in the first 10 days of the month like you need to have it in the last 10 days of the month. Agreed? Because the first 10 days, you're like, woo, I just finished that one. Woo, 12 o'clock midnight California time. Woo, oh, the computers weren't working. Oh, we got an extension. Oh, all the drama. Oh, whatever, all this stuff, right? This one fell through, but something else came through, and that, woo, I worked so hard. Okay, that's over. And then we zero out and we start all over. So the first 10 days is, for some people, for the first 2 or 3 days, they're kind of like in recovery mode. You know, woo, that was tough. Okay? So the last 10 days is always different than the first 10 days in terms of your intensity and where your mindset and frame of mind needs to be, where your heart needs to be. Where your heart needs to be is in production mode. Please get that in your notes. The next 10 days, your heart needs to be in production mode, putting points on the board. The most subtlest of things end up producing the most points. The customer, you know, that ends up reordering, gives referrals, or signs up as a preferred member and does a 500-point order. Boom! Would that give you confidence? You know, you get a customer, you just think they're going to get a tea, and all of a sudden, because your mindset is on point, 45 minutes later, they slash you a check or a credit card for preferred member and a 500-point order. Boom! So they can get 30%. Lock it in for life. Discount. And now that helps your points. That gives you tremendous confidence. And then confidence, get this in your notes, please. Confidence breeds confidence. Success breeds success. Energy breeds energy. Confidence breeds confidence. Success breeds success. Energy breeds energy. So every time money exchanges hands, every time a conversation is had, every time a promise is made, I'm going to get on the products. They promise you I'm going to get on the products. You promise them I'm going to change your life, or I'm going to help change your life with the products. Every time those conversations are happening, your confidence goes up more, because you're in action. You're doing what you need to do. You're in the mix. You guys got me? You're driving towards the goal line. Next 10 days is all about production, ladies and gentlemen. You guys got me? Okay? So you got to leave it all on the field. You got to go all out. You got to go all out. When July rolls around, you got to look back and say, I did everything I could do. And some of that might mean coaching. I see you, Earl. Some of that might mean that you need coaching, or not necessarily coaching, but just somebody to, like a soundboard, to bounce your just back and forth. It's not always about you shutting up and somebody telling you what you need to do. No, it's not about that. It's about having a soundboard where you can have a two-way conversation. Well, what do you think about this? Well, what do you think about that? Well, I was thinking about this. Well, I've been doing this, but maybe I need to fine-tune that. And just having another voice, you know, just as a soundboard. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Me and Earl were out on the practice field. I walked out of my workout last night and getting in my car, and then I saw a text, and he was right over there. And then we went over to the practice field, sat out there till midnight. Wind was blowing, nice evening. Sat out there till midnight brainstorming. So it wasn't like a mentoring session. It was more like just a two-way street conversation, soundboarding. Both of us were soundboarding. Make sense? So I just want y'all to be clear that it's not about somebody always just sitting you down and you zipping it and then them telling you, reading you, you know, the law of the land of what needs to happen and whatever. There's a lot about two-way communication, soundboarding, whatever. Earl, what you got, baby?
Yeah, I want to elaborate more about the 10-day and closing out the month. And,
yeah.
And what you and I.
Yeah, speak up. I can't. I'm raising my volume, but I still can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm getting a little closer.
Yell at him like you were yelling at me last night. You almost hurt my feelings.
I was like crazy. All right.
Exactly.
All right. The number one thing you and I talked about last night, and we broke it down. I had a little football in my hand. I was like, this is a football. And we talked about the basics. We talked about packaging our story. We talked about making sure we know that our team knows how to package their story. Because there's a situation that happened with me that apparently my story wasn't packaged as tight as it used to be when I first started. And I was like, wow, you know, you get caught up in so much. Just to let some of you guys know, I know some of you are on Morgan's team who just hit Global Expansion Team. I'm a Global Expansion Team member as well. I hit that level last year. And when you get to that level a little bit higher, sometimes you could get away from the basics. And I realized that, hey, I was like, when I started to really take off in the company, we literally had a training on how to package the story. And packaging the story is like, oh my God, you know, 30 pounds down within 3 months. And after that, 20 pounds down. After that, it just came off like butter. It's crazy. You see that? Then I'm on it, right? See, I'm on it. So it's the basics. And when you get to the basics, when I'm telling that story, then it gets to the point making sure that my team has their story prepared as well. And that's just the basics. And the 10-day game plan as well is something that, because I remember literally 2 years ago, this is where my life changed 2 years ago, where it went from 600 volume points and it just skyrocketed about 10,000 volume points within about a month and a half. And it's about finding a way, making a decision. And Glenn just mentioned that. Sometimes we get all complicated about things. And what Glenn just mentioned is that, hey, I'm going to the top of the mountain, come hell or high water, or I'm going to be dead on the side of the mountain from trying. And that's a decision that we must make. That's a decision that I've made as well. And because I've left corporate America and I'm doing this full time. So that's the type of decisions you have to make. If you haven't made that decision, that's no problem. However, this is a business. And doing a 10-day game plan is critical. And there's a lot of intelligent people. Everybody on this call is intelligent because they were smart enough to get on this call. And you want to have a soundboard, talk to your mentor or talk to some sidelines and actually discuss. And Glenn posts this every now and then on NCL. Hey, 10-day game plan, 10-day game plan, 10-day game plan. And when you have a 10-day game plan, and if you have a full-time job, you got family and all these types of things. And what Glenn is talking about is setting the sail, is when you're actually about to leave the dock and you know where you're about to go. Trust me, you will grip the wheels of your ship with much more confidence. You will grip the wheels of your ship with much more confidence because you know exactly where you're going to go. You know exactly what you're going to do. And when you have a 10-day game plan, it's not as overwhelming as like, what am I supposed to do? And also communicating with your team and like what I do with my team, I have a very intelligent team. I'm very blessed. And I'm always asking them for ideas. And they're like, well, you've been in the company longer than me. I'm like, no, you're smart. Tell me, give me some suggestions, because there's some things that I don't know. I'm smart enough to know that. I'm smart enough to know that. And another thing is finding a way. I want to elaborate more on that, because I want to give props to CJ, because at the STS, she was texting me that, oh man, my car got towed. I'm telling you business, because this is going to inspire somebody, CJ. So we have to tell this story. So bear with me. This is going to inspire somebody, because I text her. She texted me like at the STS, oh my God, I can't find a way. She didn't say that. I apologize. She said, my car got towed. I might not be able to make it. Because at the level she's at, and because of the training I know she in a personal development she has done, I text her back, find a way. I told her, find a way. And after that, I knew, instead of shutting down your mind, and I get this from Monica, this happened 2 years ago. Monica Wells said this: when you get to the point where you shut down and you think it's not possible, all your effort and your hope is gone. If you remove the possibilities, that means you're not going to put in the effort. You're not going to try to think of ways to do it. You're just going to give up and say, oh, it just can't happen. That's it. But instead, what CJ did, and this applies to our business, she made a decision. Even though her car was towed, she didn't know how she was going to get here, get to the STS. I didn't know how she was going to get there either. But I knew if she opened up her mind to find a way, she would figure it out. Lo and behold, she made it to the second half of the STS. Okay, so that's critical to the same way of us closing this month out for these next 10 days and all the way to extravaganza. It's making sure you open up the possibilities and say, okay, hey team, hey, look, what we need to do, this is what I want to try to do. This is what I'm going to do, not just try to do. This is what I'm going to do, and open up the possibilities. So CJ, I want to give you props for what you did and how you made it out to the STS. And we apply that same philosophy. And give it up to Renita as well, because she was sitting at the president's team table at the STS as well. And anytime I've talked to a president's team member, they've always talked about they have the mindset of finding a way. There must be a way. They always say a mindset of there must be a way. So let's keep that mindset. That's the basics. Thanks, Glenn.
That was huge, man. Y'all give it up. Give some acknowledgement. Give some acknowledgement. That's one thing on that. Okay, just a little. This is just a little side note for leadership and how to be a team member and a good communicator and a team player. Who would like to know a secret about that? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, a few of you, not so much. Okay. Here's a secret, okay? When somebody's, whether it's one-on-one or in a audience like this, or whether it's at an STS or whatever, right? Whether it's at a champions dinner, whether it's at a fit camp. When somebody shares something of value with you, one-on-one or in a group setting, when they are done, acknowledge what they said. Pretty simple stuff, huh? Right? Duh. Pretty simple. But would you guys believe me that it's a 50-50 toss-up when I talk to people, that after I get through dropping 30 seconds or 3 minutes of gold on them, they don't even acknowledge what I just said, and then they ask another question. Or they change the topic entirely. Or they want to talk about themselves, or whatever. They didn't even acknowledge what I just said. You guys understand? By the way, this is inside of Herbalife or outside of Herbalife. I'm just talking about humans, human interaction. When somebody shares anything of value with you, or even if it's not valuable, acknowledge what they said before you ask another question or before you change topic or whatever. Give them a little applause. I don't necessarily mean applause, but like, as a analogy, okay, as a metaphor. Give them a pat on the back. Hey man, that was great. I appreciate that. Okay, perfect. That answered my question perfectly. I love your take on that and the way you explain that. But let me ask you just one more question on that topic, or actually, let me just change the topic completely. You see how you do that? But you acknowledge what they said. We put conclusion to that subject before we moved on to the next subject. Have any of y'all ever had that happen to you? Yeah, exactly. And you're like, really? I just dropped some good stuff. And now you, well, even if it's telling your testimony, you know, I tell somebody, Earl lost 50 pounds and 7 inches off his waist, got off his high blood pressure medication. They didn't even acknowledge what I just said. And then they changed the topic. I go, hold on, did you just hear what I just said? That's unbelievable. Changed his life. They're just, a lot of people just, their attention span is just like not there, man. So anyway, there's a little, so this is something you can do, because the best communicators in the world are what? Somebody finish the sentence.
Great listeners, and they acknowledge what the person just said.
And I know Celeste was trying to hit that button. It's like Jeopardy. You gotta be quick. I don't watch Jeopardy, but I assume it's like Jeopardy from the 80s or whatever. Yep. So the best communicators are the best listeners. Okay. Now I had an analogy as well. By the way, y'all know that I say by the way a lot. Learn how to do that. By the way, just thought about it, you know. One of the best ways to teach, one of the best forms of teaching is through analogy. You guys know that? Did y'all know that? One of the best ways to teach is through analogy and or through story form. Through story form. Sometimes, you know, you don't need to say all the time, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you what happened when I was a little kid. Let me tell you a story. But you can tell a story without them even knowing that you're in a story, and then all of a sudden you're in a story, but you're given the full spectrum. It could have been a real life story, or it could be a hypothetical story, or some sort of story as an analogy. But teaching through analogy, teaching through story form is one of the best ways for people to learn and for your listener to receive and absorb what you're trying to communicate to them. Make sense? Yes, it does. Okay. So I wanted to share with you something a minute ago that we were talking about closing this month. Also, as we're in the same 2-minute warning for extravaganza with 38 days. Y'all remember last week it was 45 days, and we said, snap your fingers, it's going to be 30-something days. Then snap your fingers, it's going to be 31 days. Then snap your fingers, it's going to be 29 days, then 20 days. And then I posted all that stuff up about Bob Gray. Did anybody see my stuff last Wednesday night about Bob Gray? I even went on and Googled the 1999 calendar for you, to inspire you, I'm already inspired. I want to inspire you too, even more than you are. So, does anybody appreciate me doing that? Okay, good. I'm playing with y'all right now. Hold on, let me find that noise. Where is that? Everybody's muted, but I heard a baby. Interesting. Maybe I have voices in my head. But I wanted to, so in closing out the month, I wanted to give you an analogy, because about 7 weeks ago or so, maybe 2 months, I can't remember, but probably more like whatever, 8 weeks. I wanted to start learning like martial arts, right? And so I found a guy in the gym, and he trains with all the top UFC people. Well, he's good. He's a 21-year-old guy. He's got tattoos from his toes to his ears. You know what I mean? He's good. I think they get so many tattoos to cover up all the bruises. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for real. Anyway, this guy is freaking good. He's only 21 too. So he's like, wow, all right. So anyway, the long story short is, during that time, I was suffering a lot of back pain, back problems, right? I finally broke down. Monica convinced me, and I finally broke down about a month ago to start going to the chiropractor. I felt like I had a freaking brick in my back, and it would not pop. It was like excruciating. Anyway, so I started this MMA stuff, which involves a lot of kicking, punching, a lot of footwork, whatever, kicking the bag, kicking the mitts, and it's a lot of hip work, and my back was already jacked. So number one, I had to work through that pain. Number two, your shins, you kick with your shins, not with your feet. Your shins, anybody ever hit your shin bone on something? Feels good, doesn't it? Feels real good. I hit my shin bone on the chair, on the wooden chair leg yesterday on my way to the gym to go kick. So I go to the gym limping. I mean, right on the bone, like when you do your elbow or something. So the shin bone is like it's a sensitive situation. So the first three, not only am I dealing with back pain and kicking and trying to get these old hips loose. That's a whole nother story at my age, but now the shin stuff too. My shin was both shins were every color of purple, green, blue, red, bruised, and then also my ankles, because I kept missing my shin and hitting with my foot because of distance, and I kept hitting with the foot part. And so that was swollen all the time, whatever. Well, I wasn't just practicing like twice a week. I've been in the gym 7 days a week, and I've been doubling up. So I don't just go into the gym to practice the MMA stuff. I lift weights first. And then after my complete weightlifting session, then I go over there, stretch out, do all the stuff, do a lot of the, stuff, cardio stuff to get warmed up, hip movement stuff, lateral movement, footwork, whatever. And then I kick the bag for an hour. Kick and hit. Here's the point to the story. For a full 4 weeks, both shins were black, blue, purple, green, and red, and bruised up and not feeling great. And then I would go in the very next night and do it again. And when my trainer was trying to teach me when I kick the bag, because I'm trying to murder it. That's what I think you're supposed to do. Like give it everything you got, right? He's going, no. He's going, do it just at 40%. Just connect with it. Get your form. I'm going, okay, that makes sense. Maybe that'll, But then, of course, you're adrenaline, and you take 3 scoops of prepare and lift off and CR7 and prolong, and you're like, you just want to eat the bag, right? So it's easier said than done to have that discipline to only kick at 40%. You just want to bust that bag open sometimes. Anyway, the point to the story is I didn't have like 2 or 3 days of recovery for the shins to get better. Every night I went in and they were already red, bruised from the night before. And they hurt. What did I do? Kick that bag again, and I kicked the living blazes out of it every night. Not at 40%. 80 to 100% of everything I had. Hips hurting, back hurting, but I go because you're adrenaline and the prepare and all that other stuff. Well, I'm happy to tell you that after about 4 weeks, and I showed Earl, last night, last week, whatever, I ain't got no more black, blue, purple, and green bruises on my shins anymore. None. And the bags that I've been kicking are the shorter bags, and they're a little softer. There's this other bag that's about 6 feet long that almost touches the ground. It's a long one, and it's really compact, and it's like hitting a wall. It's so hard. Like 6 weeks ago, I would like just kick it barely, tap it. It hurt my shin so much. Guess what I was doing today? I was kicking it at 100% today. The one that's like a wall. What am I trying to relate to you? Closing out the month, getting to the next level, sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes, like last month, Earl was trying to get his receipts done at 11 o'clock at night on the last day of the month, and guess what? Computers are all jacked up because all the meltdown is happening again. At the end of every month, the computers freaking go haywire because there's too much activity. There are millions of receipts being submitted, literally millions, because I'm on the thing and the tech people tell us we've literally got 3 million receipts that are coming in tonight. Receipts. That's how much activity is going on there. And then all the orders and then the orders and the orders. So see, it's frustrating sometimes at the end of the month when you're working till 12 o'clock midnight trying to get that volume in. So what did Earl learn from that? Well, number one, it was painful that night, painful the next day. We had to make a call because the receipts got added on to the next month instead of the month that they were supposed to get added on, which affects his check. So we had to call. And what is that? Does that take time and energy from us? Is it frustrating? Yes, it's painful the same ways as the shin is painful. But what you got to do is you got to go in and keep kicking and keep kicking and keep kicking because the pain will go away and everything will work out. And I told Earl, don't even worry about it. They're going to fix it. Everything's going to work out. Everything's going to work out. Trust me, they always fix it, Earl. They always do. But when you're in it, even I'm going, even I told him that, and I'm going, I hope the hell they fix it. After I hung up. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's my reputation on the line. They will fix it. I promise you they will fix it. Hang up. I hope the hell they fix it. You guys understand what I'm saying? Did they fix it? Yeah, they fixed it. Did they fix it, in 30 minutes like we wanted them to? No. By the 5th of the month, they fixed it before the royalties ran. It got fixed. Okay. What was Earl's lesson? Well, we were on the phone and we said, okay, this is a teaching moment. So from now on, because Earl's a one-man show. He doesn't have an assistant. He doesn't have his wife helping him, whatever. He's also got his child, And so the lesson is no more putting your receipts in at 11 o'clock on the last day of the month because we know every single month everything goes freaking haywire at about the same time, about 10 o'clock at night. 9:30, 10, 11. No, the computers are slow. Oh, it's not refreshing. It's not whatever. So that also means not just receipts, but orders as well. Get those. I mean, yes, work till 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay. But get the majority of it done way before then. For real. Don't set yourself up for failure. Set yourself up for success if we know for the last 2 months in a row that the computers go freaking bonkers on us. You guys got me? Herbalife doesn't want that to happen. They spent millions on that stuff. But it's technology. Sometimes it happens when you get that massive overload. Does that make sense, guys? Okay? So, the analogy with the kicking, the bruises go away. The bruises go away. You get stronger. Closing out the month, sometimes, especially when you're not in that skill set, mindset, it gets easier, but you got to learn how to do it. And you got to keep showing up. You guys got me? You got to fight. You got to show up. You got to keep kicking every day. Okay? That's how you get to the next level. See, I apply the same stuff that I learned in business to sport. And then I apply the same thing in sport that I learned to business. They intertwine. You don't give up. You keep kicking. The pain goes away. It's uncomfortable, but it goes away. And guess what? Let me ask you guys, is it worth it? When you're sitting on the Get Team 2500, Millionaire Team 7500, President's Team, is it worth it? Yeah, because you became extraordinary in the process. That's what I'm here to tell y'all. Okay? And the final thing that I'll put on that, yes, Earl, I see it. The final thing that I'll put on that, okay? And then I'm going to test y'all when I'm done. The final thing that I'll put on that, exactly, you know what I'm going to do, Terry. The final thing that I'll put on that is when the promise is clear, the price is easy to pay. Why did it, bruised legs, and I took pictures of the legs, they was nasty. You didn't want to see them. They were nasty, okay? Why did I go in the next night and do it again? First 15 minutes hurt like heck. But guess what? Then you're adrenaline, and then you're numb for the rest of the night while you're kicking, and then it goes away. But then you hobble home because then the pain comes back. And then that night, the next day, it's hurting and whatever. But then you go kick again. But I'm telling you, 3-4 weeks later, I'm a freaking machine in there now. Doesn't hurt at all. Now I'm on the hard bag. I'm on the hard one now. Okay? And the thing to me, why did I keep doing it? It's because of the promise. I ain't in this to go try it out for 1 or twice a week. Because guess what? It'll take me a year to learn how to learn some of the techniques. So I'm on the fast track. I want to learn it. I want to learn it quick. You understand? And I am learning it quick. Hip movement's getting better. Balance is getting better. I mean, there's a few people that don't know nothing in the gym that actually think that I know something. You guys see how that works? Then people start going, oh, damn, that's pretty good. And in my mind, I'm going, oh, yeah, because I understand the technique where the needs to be. But see, that's the same in your business. You'll be doing this, you'll be doing that. People look at you and they're going, oh, that, especially when you put those glasses on. They go, God, that guy, that girl's up to something. They know what they're doing. You command respect. So anyway, that's my little analogy. The pain goes away and it's worth it, and the promise and the price. Earl.
Hey, Glenn, thanks again. I'm giving acknowledgement for that, first of all. Genuinely acknowledgement, genuinely.
Oh, y'all passed the test. Y'all passed the test. Very good. I'm proud of you.
Genuine acknowledgement, genuine acknowledgement. Hey, so I remember, I wanted to share like two stories. One about learning about closing the months out and putting everything in perspective. Closing the month out, putting it in perspective, is only 12 nights, 12 countdowns out the year. Putting it in perspective, as opposed to, it depends on what you want. Like you said, if the promise is clear, the price is easy, right? So it depends on what you want. If this is what you want, if you want to be a Morgan's level, or Elsie's level, or higher, then if you know that that's what you want, then you're like, okay, you put it in perspective. Okay, closing out the month for 12 times out the year, it's not too bad. Now, what Glenn started teaching us, as if you guys are paying attention with Elsie and Morgan and myself, and you see it happening with Renita. We're working with Celeste right now, and I'm sure you got where's Mr. Sexy at? I don't see him anymore. There you go, Terrence. So, so like those guys, they're closing out the month. We're doing 2,500, 2,500, 2,500. That's the base of moving up the marketing plan. That's the base of moving up the marketing plan. And so what Glenn used to teach me at the very beginning, Earl, you got to do 2,500. You want to move up the marketing plan? Yes, sir. You want to be financially free? Yes, sir. Okay, well, this is what you need to do. Okay. It didn't make sense to me at the beginning. All I knew was he knew what he was doing. I didn't really have time to go read a lot of books about all that stuff. Hey, do 2,500, figure it out, find a way, okay? And work with him and be a sounding board with one another and actually do the 25. And it was extremely uncomfortable. Extremely uncomfortable. Now it's second nature. Just like the Shin example, the Shin analogy he's discussing, right? So like even today, like I just did, I was telling him how I did a 700 volume point order without flinching, right? It was like nothing, because that's repetition. And it's just at the beginning, it was like, I'm handing the person like, $700, please, at the beginning.
Are you sure you want to pay that much?
Right, yeah. At that point, at the beginning, it's like that. That. After that, once you start doing it over and over and know that, and that's the purpose of the trainings. The purpose of the trainings, when you go to see not just what you see here on the call and what you're going to see even bigger at Extravaganza, is that you see so many people that are doing it. You see so many people that are doing it. You're like, oh my God, well, it must be possible. It may be uncomfortable for me right now, but it must be possible. There must be a way to get it done. So then after that, the logic, and you're like, well, I know if that guy can do it, come on, like, geez. You have those moments where, so that's when you realize, okay, there has to be a way to do the 2,500. There has to be the way that you can change your perspective.
Yeah.
It's not really, the 2,500 is only a perspective. Again, I'll talk about Renita because she's one of the most recent examples. I remember Renita telling me, Earl, 500, I don't know what you're talking about. I barely got 200 right now.
Exactly.
Renita, trust me, you can do the 500.
Exactly.
Now Renita's about to close the third cut back to supervisor, baby. Perspective, okay? Perspective. So now that's a whole different thing for her. So our goal is to teach her, it's not just 3 months, we're going to teach her how to build the muscle. Build the muscle where it's nothing right now. It's like when she comes to the gym. Use Renita's example again. When she comes to the gym, she do a workout in the morning. I found out at the Champions Dinner she run marathons. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Exactly.
But she talked about how she built up to the marathon. She talked about, I love the Champions Dinner, by the way. I learned so much about you guys. She talked about the marathon is 26.2 miles, Ren?
Exactly. Don't forget the 0.2. I remember it's 0.2.
0.2? I'm right?
Exactly.
Because that's important.
Yes, 0.2, 26.2.
Keep going. All right. So 0.2, but she said you got to build up to it. Like there's a halfway point to do 13.
Exactly.
Right? So 13.1. And then she was also talking about when you run a marathon, that you get to a certain point, like the ambulances and the police come because they're expecting people to gas out at a certain point. But she says that but she had to build up to it. But of course, this is the same thing. This game is a marathon, baby. It's a marathon. And you just trust your coach. You know, that's what I do. I'm like, all right, Glenn, I'm sitting on the football field. Glenn's telling me some things like, you know, he was getting uncomfortable to hear some things I listened to. But then I realized that was a teaching moment for me because I was getting uncomfortable. That was room for me to grow further. Yeah. So that's when he's talking about hitting them shins. I mean, when he's talking about, as far as the analogy and the story, I've been watching him do it. It's phenomenal, and the results he's getting is crazy. And he's kicking his bag, and now it's like second nature to him. But it's the same thing with this business. You know, just get uncomfortable. It may be uncomfortable. It doesn't last that long.
Exactly.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. You know,
and it's worth it. Yeah. And it's worth it. Y'all keep that in mind. It's worth it. If you got your eye on the prize, if you're always clear on the promise, then that will always get you through the price that you have to pay. Always keep your eye on the promise. You guys follow me? Oh, there was something that Earl, because when Earl talked about, and by the way, great on what you just said. See, sometimes you don't acknowledge them, so you got to go back and acknowledge. But on the real, really great stuff, what you just said. But when he had never done 2,500, remember that conversation? And he had, you know, he had never done 2,500 before in his life. He was not an active supervisor yet. And I had asked Earl, I said, Earl, do you want to be a global expansion team member? Earl, do you want to make this amount of income like you say you do? Yeah, it was all yes, yes, yes. Earl, do you want to be successful? Earl, do you want to be a millionaire team member? Earl, do you want to be a president's team member? All the answers were yes. And then here was the truth. And by the way, y'all keep this in perspective, because the same way that like Earl can have a conversation with Sharon and he can say certain things because him and Sharon know each other for a couple of years now. They're comfortable with each other. They don't get their feelings hurt if he says, Sharon, you need to do this. And then she goes, oh, don't you tell me what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? No, she's like, you know, she don't take offense to it. But if the person's only been in for a week and you say, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do that, guess what? All that person hears is something that their parents told them from their childhood. That triggers that thing, and then all of a sudden, they're like, whoa, right? So with Earl, what I did is because Earl knew me, we had a good relationship, I said, Earl, do you want all that? Do you want the get team and the mill and the pres team, and do you want success and you want to make the money and whatever? See, he had never done 2,500, and he thought 2,500 was a big freaking deal. And by the way, for a new person, it is. Understand, for them, it is. But I told Earl point blank, Earl, how do you expect me to help you get to the get team if I can't first teach you how to do 2,500 points a month? I'm gonna let that land on y'all for a minute, because y'all need to hear that. I don't mean to tell you what you need to do, right? But I suggest that y'all hear that, right? Because that's the real stuff. If he's doing 500 points a month, is he gonna get to the president's team? No, there's not enough business inside of there. There's not enough skill set, not enough, you know, there's just not enough production, okay? So that was the truth, what I told him. Earl, how can I get you to the get team if I can't teach you how to do 2,500 a month? So the first thing we need to do, just like with Ren, we can't, if we never done a marathon before, we can't start running 26.2 miles. That's nuts. No, let's start practicing, run a mile, run 2 miles, then let's start with a 5K. That's about 3-something miles, right? Ran 3 point whatever, right? So a 5K, start with a 5K. Can't just start with a 20, right? But then once you do it, and that's the importance of active supervisor, once you do it, now it's second nature. Now you've developed a habit and a pattern. And by the way, a perspective. Because perspective, guys, is key. What you believe, what you've been able to see, smell, hear, touch, your perspective. Right? Oh, wow. I became an active supervisor and I didn't wind up in minor emergency. Well, I guess it wasn't that hard. Yeah, did it take more effort than doing 500 points a month on the DAT program? Yeah, a little bit more, but not a whole lot more, but a little bit more. And is it going to take a little bit more to get the world team, active world team, and get team? Yeah, just a little bit more. But it becomes easier and easier and easier, just like kicking the bag, because the bruises go away. Because you develop yourself. Develop yourself. Be willing to be developed. Be open for coaching. Be open for coaching. And y'all remember, this is the hardest thing to do, especially for people that aren't used to being coached. Okay? You know, it is hard because sometimes your buttons get pushed. And you don't even know why they're getting pushed. But I'll tell you usually why they're getting pushed is because it triggers something from your childhood or your teens about, you know, relationship with your parents, your brother, your sister, somebody that embarrassed you, somebody that, you know, said something that, you know, just these little button pushers. And sometimes you don't even know why. And you hate it too. You hate reacting like that, but you do. So all I'm saying is if you're being coached by your coach, give them a break. They're just doing their best. And they probably didn't go to a 10-year coaching academy to learn how to be the best coach in the friggin' world. We're all just learning as we go. Does that make sense? Okay? Me included. Every time I coach, I start out with disclaimers. In the middle of my coaching, I put disclaimers. And at the end of the coaching, I put disclaimers. How many disclaimers did I say with you last night, Earl?
Yeah.
By the way, before I continue, let me just throw this out. I'm not saying you did. I'm not saying you didn't. I'm just saying sometimes this happens. So, you know, so I'm always throwing out disclaimers because I'm guilty of it too. So then I'll put it on me because I'm guilty too. So I don't know, but I'm just letting you know that we might need to look at this and make sure we package our story. So it's rock solid every single time, consistent with every single freaking person. And that's something we need to work with on your group too. Because it's the subtlest of things that make the biggest of differences in your daily successes. You guys follow me?
Yes.
So all I'm saying is on coaching, if you're coaching people, be aware of that. If you're being coached, also give your coach a break sometimes because they're just doing their best. And everybody's always got the best intention. One thing that I've learned, and y'all get this down, none of your coaches are going to intentionally say something to hurt you. They're not going to intentionally say something. Now, they might say something that pushes a button, but they didn't intentionally do it. We're not going to say something intentionally that's going to be to your detriment or to be bad for you. Everything's with your best interest. Does that make sense? So imagine if you're being coached and you have that mindset, do you think that you're going to be more open to being coached? And then the button pushers aren't going to happen as much? You know, they might still happen, you know, because maybe your coach is horrible. Maybe they do need to learn how to be a better communicator. Maybe they do need to read how to win friends and influence people and developing the leader within and developing the leader around and learn how to speak. Maybe they do. Okay. But if they're trying, I'm just saying, give them a break, cut them some slack. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Last thing in closing, because it's 9:33 and we're going to get y'all off because I see some tired eyes. I know a lot of y'all been up early all morning. I want to thank y'all for being an incredible audience and students and coaches tonight and being committed to your business, committed to greatness. I want to acknowledge y'all all for that right now. So first of all, give it up to yourselves before I give you my final statement. Give it up. Give it up. Ren, there you go. I'm waiting for Ren. All right. So here's how we closed the last call a week ago. And I'm going to say it. I need y'all, for you, for your own good, I need all of y'all to do more this month than you did last month. You understand? I'm requesting that for your own good, for your own greatness, for your own success, for everything that we've already talked about putting our stamp on the second quarter, going into July feeling like champions. Do y'all want to show up at Extravaganza feeling like 10 feet tall and bulletproof champions? Yes, you do. So you got 10 days to prove yourself. The only person that you're proving yourself to really is you, because you're the one that's got to live with you. You're the one that self-confidence is at stake. Confidence breeds confidence. Success breeds success. Momentum breeds momentum. So do it for you, because it's your business. You're the CEO and president of your own company, your own business. So I'm trying to teach y'all. So that's why y'all need to do it for you. This month, 10 days. Do more than you did last month. All out massive action. The lessons that you will learn in the next 10 days will stick with you for a lifetime. And then you'll be able to apply the same lessons and techniques next month, in the last 10 days of next month, and the last 10 days of August, and the last 10 days of and guess what? You do that 4 or 5 months in a row, guess who's going to be a Get Team member? See, things don't happen by accident, ladies and gentlemen. Things happen by design. If you can, by the way, not if, but when you can string 3, 4, 5 months together of being a freaking boss the last 10 days of the month and leaving it all on the field and having that mindset of a champion and playing full out and always doing more than you did last month, playing that game to beat yourself, compete with yourself, outdo yourself, outdo what you did last month, because you're better this month than you were last month. Aren't y'all better this month than you were last month? Yes, all of you are. I'm better this month than I was last month, and you are too. So now just go put the points on the board to prove it. Have confidence in yourself. People need you. People need you. People want you. Put that vibration out there and attract those people to you, and be a freaking Herbalife Terminator over the next 10 days in a good, attractive way. Not in a where you push people away, where you're a freaking maniac. You guys got what I'm saying. Be an Herbalife Terminator in a positive way that pulls people into your life. You guys got me? Very good. Very good. Anything else? If you got anything to say, you better say it in 30 seconds, because we ain't got no 5 or 10 more minutes. Anybody? Very good. Y'all come off mute and tell us how great tonight was.
Great job. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Glenn.
And so, Terry, I got to tell you, so great to see your face on here and have you on here part of the conference.
And I'm in the East Coast. We're an hour behind you guys.
Behind, ahead.
It's 10:40 here.
Exactly. So you're ahead, not behind.
I mean ahead, right?
Exactly.
Ahead of you guys.
An hour behind. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Very good. Well, I appreciate
Shout
y'all.
out,
I love
shout
y'all.
out to our girl Megan Morrissey, who's on here with me.
Oh, fantastic. Hey, Megan.
Brand new qualified producer.
Wow.
Congratulations. Fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, so y'all remember the Telegram group. Get your people's tickets nailed down for Extravaganza so y'all can get them on the Telegram group. That thing is fixing to light up here. As we approach the countdown, we're going to put a lot of great content on there. Get the tickets, get them signed up on the Telegram group, The Road to the Extravaganza 2018. All right? We love y'all. Thank y'all. Peace out.
Hey.
Bye, guys. Love ya.
Bye-bye.
Love you too.